Today to have the Nobel Prize-winning psychologist and economist, Daniel Kahneman, whose book, Thinking Fast and Slow, is one of the best sellers of last year and a great manual for how to make better decisions. System 1 is thinking fast. System 2 is thinking slow. What's the difference between the two systems, and why?
System 1 is essentially what comes up automatically in your memory. So, when I say 2 plus 2, something comes into your head. When I say your mother, an emotion comes. So all these things that are automatic, that's what I call System 1. And you have no control of it because it's automatic and involuntary. System 2, the slower thinking, is distinguished really not so much by the fact it's slow, although it's pretty slow, but by the fact that it's effortful and deliberate. So what you can do deliberately, you do in System 2. And you can, control yourself, control your thoughts, perform complicated computations. Those things are activities of System 2. So System 1 does most of the mental work. It happens automatically. We don't have to worry where to put our next foot or what word should come next. Some of the work, and it's important work, is done by System 2 when we slow down.
Imagine you're one of the first human beings and you're walking with your kid and you see a lion. And you don't know what a lion is, so you take your kid over to play with him. And the lion eats your kid. So you go home and you're sad, but it's okay. You get your wife pregnant, and in 5 years, you're walking again with your new kid and you see a lion far away. This time you hide with your kid and the lion eventually leaves and you both survive. So you come out, you start walking with your kid again, and a bird flies over, and all of a sudden, your kid drops dead. And you go home sad again. You get your wife pregnant again, and you make a promise to yourself. You're going to make sure that you hide your new kid from lions, and that you'll hide him if you see a bird flying over. So there are two ways that we think. Both of the decisions that you made are based on the fast, automatic thought process, which Kahneman calls System 1. System 1 is where we find how irrational and illogical, or just simply how stupid we really are, so it can lead us to not value System 1 or think that it's useless. If you had used your slow, more rational and logical thinking, you would have found that you were right about the lion, but the bird had nothing to do with your kid's death.
That's the key. There was something very compelling in him, and the feeling that he elicited was stronger than the warnings.
So one of the things that I really enjoy about my life is the peace of mind I have while doing things. When I visit somewhere, I'm not worried about a terrorist attack, and when I fly there, I'm not worried about the plane crashing. And that peace of mind largely comes from the fact that I'm not really a big consumer of mainstream media. But I meet people all the time who are really constantly worried. Have you seen how terrorism is taken over the world? What are we headed towards? Have you seen how planes are just crashing all the time now? But in reality, it's not like the chances of those two things have risen in some dramatic proportion. They're highly unlikely, and I mean a probability very close to zero that your plane will crash. And this is what is known as the science of availability. Even an event that has an almost non-existent probability of happening to you can be assigned a reasonable or even a high probability by you just because of what's available to you.
Though they were warned, that's the key. There was something very compelling in him, and the feeling that he elicited was stronger than the warnings.
System 1. The intuitive, fast-thinking system in which most people spend most of their time, operates in a state that you call cognitive ease. Well, System 2 requires something you call cognitive strain. When you're taking the easy path of System 1, what kinds of mistakes are you prone to?
In the first place, you are going to act more impulsively. You're going to act quickly. So if your impulses turn out to be wrong, if you're not a chess player, but you're sort of living in a world where first impulses are not necessarily wrong, you may make mistakes which By the way, not all mistakes are avoidable, but there are some mistakes that if you brought System 2 to bear, if you slowed yourself down, you could avoid. So when you are in a sort of free flow mode of cognitive ease and System 1 running the show, you're going to be more impulsive, you're going to be more emotional, you're going to be more optimistic, and you're going generally to follow your first impressions and your first intuitions.
And isn't that good? Haven't we read that your gut is right 90% of the time?
No, it's not right 90% of the time. The chess player's gut